Right folks, so welcome back to another video. It's an exciting day. We're at Artec Performance with the GTI Edition 30. Of course, I'm in the RS3 at the minute because we made a start on the car yesterday. But yeah, we are going hybrid turbo on the Edition 30. It's going to be stage 3, you could call it. So we're basically chasing 400 plus horsepower on the car. But yeah, let's head inside and show you guys what's been happening over the last day or so. All right, so here we are. Plenty of Golfs as usual and an A3 with a strange looking exhaust. Edition 30s everywhere also. Here's my one, of course, slow Mark 5, soon to be a relatively quick Mark 5, let's hope. But yeah, we are going to be fitting a Venom hybrid turbo. I'm going to give you guys a full detailed look at the thing and explain to you what makes a hybrid turbo as well shortly. We already did make a start on the car yesterday. We fitted a AirTech intercooler. Big shout out to Workz as well for hooking me up with that. So we've already got the front end back on. But we did delete the AC rad. I've got some pics from yesterday so you can see how the intercooler looks. Go for like a stealth look so you can't really tell much in there. If you saw the previous video, you saw that we already done a bunch of the maintenance. The car's been compression tested as much as we could do essentially. So here it is, the Venom hybrid turbo. There are different variations of these. Of course, it all depends on the spec you want. We went for the Venom 450. It's a ball bearing turbo. I know a lot of people might not know what a hybrid turbo is. I know you see the term here and there and probably think, yeah, it just means it's quick. So to make things easier for you guys, I actually headed up to Venom a few weeks ago to collect this turbo. Thought it'd be good to see exactly what goes into making something like this. So enjoy this little 5-minute segment and I'll catch up with you guys back once you've had a nice insight into what goes into making this lovely thing. So we're in the main room with Paul from Venom Hybrid Turbos.
Yeah, so essentially hybrid turbo is you take a standard turbocharger looking for more power. So you'd take the original turbo apart, you'd machine out both the compressor housing and the turbine housing to take in bigger wheels. The wheel size is all dependent upon what kind of power output you want to achieve at the end of it.
Yep.
In your case, you're going for this 2-litre TFSI. You were originally going to go for the 430, weren't you? But
yeah,
just after discussing it for 20 minutes, we just decided that we're going to go for the...
So we've been having a chat off camera.
Singing, all dancing. The principle behind making the Venom 430 and the 450, in essence, is very, very similar.
Okay.
Right? So they're both, you'd take it apart, and you'd machine out the compressor housing to take either the 430 compressor wheel or the 450. Okay. Same with the manifold. Yep. You machine it out to take either the 430 wheel or the 450 wheel.
Right.
Now with these 2-litre TFSIs, to get a lot of power, these runners, these are a restriction, and that's a restriction as well. So you need to really get air. And on every turbo, you need to get air going into that turbo as easily and flowing as you can. So what we do with these, CNC program to make these these holes bigger. Right. And then it gets finished off and polished manually. Okay. Yeah. The wastegate gets ported out as well. Okay. Helps against back pressure. Right. The actuator, they get taken apart. They get a stronger spring on the 430 and the 450. And in essence, that is a hybrid turbo. You take a standard turbo off. Yep. And you make it to push more power, still with the stock frame housings. So yeah, and then it'll bolt straight onto the car. That's the 430 core assembly, which we've just been describing. That is still journal bearing. Okay. And that does push 430. Tried and tested, million and one times. Does the numbers. The Venom 450. Ball bearing. Okay. So the spool is just through the roof. But the subtle difference is, if you just look at the size comparison, them core assemblies would be built and balanced. Right. Okay. On that VSR machine over there. And like I say, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a side-by-side comparison on the spool from the 430 compared to the 450, i.e. journal bearing compared to ball bearing. So the machine's all started up. We've got a Venom 430 core in there, which we were saying is going to spool very similar to a stock KO4 potentially? Yeah, there or thereabouts, yes. There or thereabouts. Yeah. It's actually got a K16 turbine wheel in there. Okay. Yeah. So what RPM are we going to set this up? We're going to do this at 102,000 RPM, and we're going to do the Venom 450, which is ball bearing, also to 102, and it gives a perfect side-by-side comparison on the rundown of each core assembly. It's not going to come flying out there, is it, Paul? No, definitely not. No. If I've done my job right, anyway. All right. Okay, so there it's slowed down. And it stops within 3, 4, 5 seconds.
Yeah. Next we've got the Venom 450 ball bearing going on. So this is the one we're going to put in the Edition 30. It's just carrying on, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's the difference, you see. So when that's on your car and you're changing gear, it's just
ready to go straight away.
Absolutely, mate, yeah.
Yeah, so that on the road is going to be pretty serious. Right, so we're here with Ben. We're going to go over some of the machining process now, aren't we?
Yep.
So we've got two pretty crazy looking machines here.
Yeah, two CNC machines. We've got a CNC machining centre and then a CNC lathe. They basically do the same thing essentially. They cut material away from metal, and that's, in a nutshell, that's what we need to do.
Sweet.
As Paul outlined earlier, the essence of a hybrid turbo is generally a turbo with bigger wheels inside.
Yep.
So we've got to profile the housings out to accept the bigger wheels.
Yep.
The trick with any CNC really is holding, as you can see there's a nice fancy contraption in here which we've had to make to hold this particular housing because of the shape and etc.
Yeah.
And same sort of script on the other machine as well. The actual physically holding of it is the trick really.
Yeah.
The rest of it the machine does for you once you've programmed it. So this one's set up to do the runners. The tools are going to come in, cut these open a little bit to port match them and to match them up to the gaskets.
The end result is a nice shiny turbo with a fancy compressor wheel.
Essentially, and hopefully lots and lots of BHP. The cutter goes into the port, it profiles it out, it'll come back out, go to the next port, do all four, one after the other. It's like it's doing its thing, so we can leave that for a while. So essentially, to get the excess material away, you use one tool that cuts away a lot of the excess material, and then it'll change to what we call a finishing tool. That'll come in and just put the nice profile in, a nice smooth profile. The smoother you can get the profile for the compressor wheel, the better really, because it's going to, the air's going to flow better through the compressor wheel. Machine spins up. Change it to a roughing tool. Comes down to the front of the job, and then we can't see anything else basically. I'll have to close it.
We'll close it. Right, so what we'll do, we'll let that all crack on and we'll basically show you guys the complete turbo shortly once all these bits are assembled and put back together. Right, so I hope you guys enjoyed that segment. Game plan now is we're gonna tackle the turbo removal today. A quick little reminder before we get into all of that though, if you do enjoy the content on this channel, make sure you do go down and hit subscribe. We're nearly at 100k, so it'd be very nice of you to go ahead and do that. Moment of truth, turbo's out. I don't even know how Alex managed that. He got sweating. Sweating. Just got to transfer all these lines over, oil lines, coolant lines, and put them onto this thing. There's a few little changes, but for the most part it's still a KO4, it's just a modified KO4. What you done to the seats?
Hey?
What you done to the seats?
Low vocal. Set it for any time.
Yes, Alex. Turbo all fitted up, yeah?
Yeah, it's just on there now.
Hidden back there, Venom 450. So here we are, day 2, back again. Plenty of Edition 30s everywhere as usual. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But yeah, the plan for today is we're going to do more of the fueling side of things. We are going to be fitting a TTRS low pressure fuel pump. So that's the in-tank pump. Of course, it's under the back seats. We haven't got any in stock today, so we're waiting on that. But yeah, the main thing we're cracking on with initially is we're going to get the inlet off and fit the high flow injectors. People used to use RS3 injectors and get custom loom and yeah, do the head mod because they never used to sit perfectly. But now Artec have bought out their own high flow KO4 injectors, so they're like a modified one. We're also going to fit the high pressure fuel pump internals as well. So yeah, a few things to do today, and we've got to get the ECU out because we might fit a base file on it today as well, get it just nice and up and running, ready for the dyno later in the week. Yes, Corey. Attacking the ejectors, yeah? Light work. So here we are, injectors are all stripped down, Pip's been at it, so you want to give a brief idea of what's been happening, or are we keeping it all secret?
No, this is basically a stripped down injector. We're just going to hybridise them.
Yeah.
So they should run better than the RS3 injector.
So we've got hybrid injectors as well as a hybrid turbo then?
We use all stock parts on them.
Yeah.
We just modified certain parts of the injector. Can't tell you why I modify, obviously for reasons, but
of course, yeah.
This is your general strip down of an injector and parts and components that go into an injector.
It's going to be reassembled with the operated parts, and we'll show you guys exactly how they compare to the earlier readings, which were the totally stock KO4 injectors. The modded ones in that machine, have we?
Modded ones in this.
Okay, so the modded ones are in this machine.
Stock KO4s.
Stock KO4 in those. So we're going to show you literally side by side what the difference is.
We can see the spray patterns on both.
That's straight away, man. It's a lot more richer kind of look. Straight away you can just tell, innit? It's just literally firing it out. Now we're gonna see how much they dispense. So, I'm sure you guys saw before, the stock KO4s are between 60 and 70 if they're good. So, you know these modded injectors, what sort of BHP figure are they good up to, or would you recommend?
It depends, I can mod them to any spec.
Okay.
So these are specifically modded to your spec.
Sweet.
So these are running higher than the RS3 injectors, it's like that.
Okay.
RS3 injectors, you're talking around the 80. Yours about the 85.
85 is a big jump, isn't it? These machines are just so therapeutic to watch. You see, you see, you just watch this flowing all day.
So these are, like I say, on your injectors, even though you had a couple that was a bit lower, they were still within tolerances. Same again on these injectors. So these are just mimicking exactly what your injectors were like before. So you should be still within better tolerances than last time, in fact.
Big jump, big jump.
Obviously that machine is going to be slightly higher than that, but there you go.
Nice. 85.
So before you was
literally,
literally 65. So there is a massive difference in fuel.
Yes,
this is a brand new set of KO4s in there, so you can see the difference.
Yes.
And the stock spray pattern, so no head modifications needed.
Yeah, it's literally like an OEM plus modification, isn't it, essentially?
These are your old injectors.
Just done some calculations, it's a rough 30% increase, isn't it?
30% increase over your stock KO4 injector.
Awesome.
Please.
Injectors are back in. Nice and shiny.
Is Phil told you how much you are?
No.
Oh dear.
And I'm getting ready to be...
You got a gold MasterCard?
Yeah. So we're going to be deleting these runner flaps as well.
I don't know.
There we go, it's all done. So yeah, you don't literally just take them out, you got to actually do it properly if you're going to do runner flap delete. So you do it on the inlet as well, from what Alex is saying. I haven't driven a car with a runner flap delete, so hopefully it's all good. All right, so I've got your present, Alex. Here you go. This high pressure fuel pump internals for you, mate.
Fit them, yeah.
Yep, so they're going to go in the pump. There it is. I'm going to do the drill mod as well. You guys might remember some of this stuff from the grey GTI video. So big shout out to this for supporting the build as well. Make sure you check them out. You do need these when you're going Stage 2 Plus as well. So yeah, well worth doing. Don't know how long this video is going on for so far. It's probably nearly an hour long. Thought I'd do like a feature length film, innit? The GTI getting big power. But yeah, it just gives you a nice idea of how many steps they are to something like this. Fresh cam follower and runner flap deletes. Interrupted by an Edition 35. Oh, the drill mod.
Yeah, 5mm drill mod. Just got to be careful with these as well, because I've got a washer inside, but 9 times out of 10 they'll just sit inside the pump and stay there.
Yeah.
But sometimes they stick to the bottom of these and come out, so just be mindful.
Yeah.
Because if you put it all back together and you got a fuel leak, it'll be that.
Okay.
9 times out of 10. That's all the difference in it. Just freeing up that fuel flow.
Yeah, that is a assembled high pressure fuel pump with all the trimmings that we want. Back into life.
Smiling now you are.
I know.
I can see the YCT. You know what's coming.
Yep. Definitely sounds different. Right, so the day is here. We're going to be putting the Edition 30 on the dyno, get some base runs going. Nick's just loaded on a DSG map on it, so yeah, we're hoping to see 400 today, at least in this video. So the car is going to continue to stay here and get sort of worked on, because the hybrid turbo, you don't just stick it on the dyno and just whatever it makes, it makes. You've got to build up to a higher number. So hopefully in this video we'll make something starting with the 4, and then the first drive video we'll have the completed figure to show you guys. Sounds very different, this does. Right, so I'm going with 320. Actually, no, you said 327, didn't you? So I'm going to say 340 to start with. And what you said, Nick?
322.
322. Okay, so these are, of course, the starting figures. We'll see what he does straight off the bat. Yeah.
If I get closer, you buy dinner tomorrow.
I'm buying it anyway, though, innit? I'm lost anyway. Right, boss. So these were the initial figures that we were thinking of.
Yeah, I meant to put 264.
Yeah, this is basically what he did first. And low, what low boost is,
That's just minimum boost the turbo run, so that's on actuator pressure.
Okay. So yeah, I definitely lose.
Yeah.
Pip added that on the end, but I don't know, does he count because he wasn't there at the time of the bet,
I didn't see it.
He wins, he buys dinner tomorrow then.
Okay, so
I'll buy dinner.
Yeah.
How many times have I won the Dyno roulette though? I won it on my car precisely, I won it on Alex's car and Joe's car.
Gee, he must hack into this.
down to one brake horse.
It's meant to say a 3 there. But yeah, so what's the next plan of action from here then?
A review of the logs. Just looking here now, your actuator pressure minimum boost was 0.75 bar.
Okay.
That's what we've got that with, so it's quite healthy numbers for the low.
Okay.
Such low boost.
Yeah, I mean, it's lovely, it's just equal as well. That must just feel awesome. Even driving that on the road, that would feel good, having equal.
Oh yeah.
I mean...
It feel like an Honda. So the base map is to get that data.
Yeah.
Now I can work from that, so what I'm going to go now, I'm going to just whack it up to 40% duty cycle on the turbo just to see what boost levels that give me.
Right, so second run complete. 325 horsepower.
Between the two different ones, we've done one on zero actuator pressure and 40% N75 duty cycle. And that's the difference in boost.
Yeah.
So peaking around about 1.4 bar at 40% duty cycle.
Time for the third run. The cooler thing just broke off as normal. Nothing too much of an issue, but it has wet itself on the wall. What are you doing? Yeah.
Which coolant box is it?
The junction box. It's that normal, the one that always goes.
Typical one. Leave the one balls to that. We look at this data.
Alright, okay. Let's look at this data. So
this is the data I'm compiling.
Yep.
0 N75, 60% N75 flat, no, 40% N75 flat, 60%. So I'm just painting a picture, and I'll take this data and I can paint a picture on my map.
Yeah.
So then boost levels then have so far, obviously the tapering off, engine power.
Oh, nice. 387.
So you can see the increments.
Yeah, it's got a really nice.
The boost is making. Obviously the boost with that at the moment, because how I'm just using flat duty cycle, the boost is always tailing off until I've got all this data, then I can hold the boost flat. Then we go to, so we boost. I found roughly where peak torque is going to be on the setup.
Right.
So engine torque. So this is the torque. So it picks up. I want to aim to hold this a little bit flatter across here when I finish, but that's 1.8 bar peak. And it gives us 427 foot-pound of torque.
Ooh, 427.
Big grin on your face, seeing you smile.
That's going to feel mad on the road, that is.
But it's where it is. I don't like where peak torque is at the moment.
Yeah.
You know, 3,600, so it's absolutely pointless there. So really, we want that peak torque to be more here, so you got a bit of momentum, you get better traction. Then it's just kicking up and tailing off. So it might be worth, I'm going to flatten that.
Yeah.
And come across here, up to about here. And obviously, hopefully that power will carry on, the torque will carry on. It's making 387 with just under 1.3 bar of boost pressure.
Nice.
So we should be, in theory, if the turbo will hold it and the actuator's strong enough, we'll be holding 1.6
Nice.
Around
Okay.
about 430, 440 brake in theory.
In theory.
In theory, it doesn't always happen.
Yeah. So end of play time today, then you're saying, Nick? Probably
Prematurely.
Prematurely end of play. Just goes to show what goes into these things, what you can encounter. These little quality pieces are literally, they happen to all my GTIs. It's just probably a blessing they happen now.
It's your map.
It's your
map. Joys of being a tuner. This is what it all stems down to at the end of the day. Oh, look.
Fancy new wall as well. This wall wasn't black last time. It's all been freshly painted and now it's been blessed with Flow Mark 5's coolant as well.
You know what this means?
It's giving it a nice shine though, hasn't it?
It means there's going to be another video.
Yeah.
To be continued.
To be continued, yeah. You're going to have to wait for that one, but only a few days. We'll make sure we get that one to you ASAP and then we'll get a nice drive of it on the road. All looking good so far. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel if you are enjoying the content. If you watched the video up until now, you probably are. Make sure you drop a like on it. All the usual stuff. Pips bought the gloves.
For you.
They're for you, mate.
They're for me.
Look at my hands. My
Your
hands.
car, your man.
This is the rule of the dyno.
I'll better get cracking with this. I'll catch you guys later.
This is the rule